Alright, so homework. Aging sheepdog in Montana, regular checkups. What's the first thing that I would mark anywhere in there? What else? Normal distribution. What else? It gives us sigma. What else? It does kind of tell us, but what am I going to actually need out of here? X bar and N. And then one thing that I haven't marked yet. One word. Because that's going to tell me my direction there. This is one of those where context kind of funny as far as what you choose to write as your population and whatnot. So let's skip to let mu. It's going to start with what? What word? So it is the mean what? Heart rate beats per minute. Same thing. So if it's for Rosie the sheepdog, I could actually write that as my population. And just say, I might even come back to that when we talk about in a condition and finish that out. So what is my null hypothesis? So you will want units there if it gives it to you. Oops. My alternative hypothesis. And what's the, why did I choose less than? Because the slowing. So something in the wording of the problem is going to tell you what always goes here. And then what's the last thing I need to define? I always write that, so I'm saying I didn't just find this somewhere that it really wasn't. So if one's not given, I always write since not given. But by default, unless told differently, and if it doesn't give us one, we're just going to use 0.05. First part of plan. What is the method? What do I need to do with that? So don't forget that part. Then what? What's my first condition? What's my issue here? There's nothing random about this problem, which means, we talked about this yesterday, which means what? And population or a larger population. And I'm basically saying I understand that, but that's fine. All right, then what's my next condition? What do I write there? And I don't care, like, I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't care if you write this in context or or just actually flat out like that. Either way is fine. This one actually stated that the distribution of all sheepdogs was approximately normal, right? I think. Or does it say hers? It says hers. Okay. So either way you want to write that, you can say population or you can say hers. So what? What's my last condition? Which is 10% condition. What's in here? Okay, so what could I write about? They're at least 60 what?
I said they're at least 60 weeks of BPM data.
At least 60 what?
Weeks of like heart rate data.
Where did we get the 6 from?
They studied it for 6 weeks.
This 6 actually comes from, like, yes, it was over the past 6 weeks, but it doesn't necessarily, this was once a week. And I just don't want you to accidentally make that incorrect connection in a different problem. Like in this problem, it might have been that it was 1 a week. So instead of saying weeks,
on possible times the BPM could be measured.
and some people might even go one step farther than that, and then at that point include what?
Rosie, the aging sheepdog.
And so I just put Rosie. Yes. What else? But measured what? What? Or depending on how you worded your population, some of you are going to put in the past 6 weeks if you said her population is all of them in the past 6 weeks. And that's completely up to you. So now that we've done that, what should our population be? We just stated it. So what would the population be?
All possible times where the heart rate could be measured in the past.
And because it just says they think it's been happening in the past 6 weeks, that's why I would have put it here, and I would have chosen to write it here. But this is one of those that isn't super straightforward, and it's kind of vague within, so I would take multiple answers there. Questions with anything through conditions? All right, what's next? Step 3 is what? Do. What's the first thing I need from do? Which gives me what? 1.05? 105. What else?
Signal.
Which is?
12.
What else?
Yeah. 6. You. Okay.
Before that. 2. Why is it 1? Because our alternative is less than. And we set alpha to be 0.05. So our equation what in general? So what's x bar? What's mu? What's sigma? What's n? And you end up getting 2.0 what?
Your X bar, you got 105. You got 4.75.
Does that make sense?
No, so I was really confused.
You just checked with it. You probably just put it in the wrong list. Or you found the one variable stats on the wrong list.
But I'm looking at when it says X bar, right? On the list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But if you had a number that was 4 something, you probably did a like list 2 or something on accident. Alright, so at that point, what do I do?
We wanna, take that, define.
And so what do I usually put right here?
Make a little curve.
And then where is that? Where do I shade? Why? Because your alternative was less than. So finding this area, which I can either do in my calculator, I can do it in yellow sheet, I can do it in my calculator by normal CDF, I can do it in my calculator by running a test. But either way, I will be getting a p-value of what? And I'm comparing this p-value to a what kind of value? And what was my alpha? And this number is? So our conclude is that what's our first decision? And we choose to. So we do reject the null hypothesis at mu equals 115. Since the what is what? Which means that, and I don't care if you say convincing or enough convincing, that's just habit. Right. Here, it is going to change who writes what for the very end. If I were answering this one to explain what's actually going on, to answer the question, what did we actually find evidence of? In words. What did it actually ask? That is a possible answer. Another possible answer is all of those three are saying the same thing. And I do not care which one you do. So some people are going to answer the question, which means usually write down word for word what was asked. Some people are just going to always write whatever the alternative hypothesis is because we've already sufficiently defined everything within the problem. Or some people are going to kind of go halfway in between and talk about the alternative hypothesis in the context of the problem. And I never care which one you choose. Questions on that? Most of my answer keys will probably look more like answering the question itself.
On the yellow sheet, our p-value was 0.0207.
That is a rounding thing with the calculator probably. Because there's 3 different methods now, that last number off by 1 is not going to matter that much. And what I'll do is I'll check through all of them and I'll have different ways to do it. All right, questions on the homework?